If you've been in scouting for any period of time, you probably have witnessed a youth honor guard presenting the colors. What is that? Hey, ScouterStan, let's talk about the youth honor guard. This is something that's more than, you say, a troop or a pack that's assigned a group of scouts to present the colors at the meeting. This is a little more involved than just doing that at your regular meeting. The Youth Honor Guard is actually a unit per se of scouts that are actually get assignments to do very official activities as the honor guard. This could be through your council or even your district. There's many things that go along with that. Instead of having a senior patrol leader, you could have a brigade captain. You know, that's something that would be the title of the senior patrol leader. That's something like that can be put together. This is typically a very exclusive group. We'll get into more of the details, but they're really sharp looking, and they have their own patch. You know, that's something that they have for their actual duties as a honor guard. Now, what the honor guard actually does, and the primary focus of their purpose, is to carry the colors. Now, the colors could be just the American flag, or it could be a state flag or different flags of the nation, you know, depending on what kind of assignment they're on. That's their primary thing, to present those colors and retire those colors at the end of the meeting. So that's kind of their focus, is on presenting the colors. Primarily flag ceremonies at any public or civic events that happen within your community. This honor guard is there to really do those ceremonies so that respect is given at its highest level. Memorial and commemorative type of events is a critical ceremony that the youth honor guard can be used for. The honor guard can also be utilized at parades and different civic events that go on within your community. Now, the youth honor guard really depends on your council and your district that you're in. This is something you need to investigate if you're interested in this. So definitely check with the service center of your local council, and they can give you more information about a youth honor guard. Now, what does a typical assignment look like? These assignments can be derived from the council or district on even an annual basis. So these might be things like parades and different ceremonies. This is something that they could be involved in. Especially if the council is hosting some big event for national or for the region or the section, I think they call it. It's something they could actually offer for those events. Now, before a given assignment, the honor guard will have to have some kind of uniform inspection. Some events will have different uniforms. Some will be outside, where it will be appropriate to wear a different shirt or a different hat. So that uniform inspection needs to happen before the assignment, long before. And of course, practicing the actual service that they're going to be providing. That's important. It could be different ceremonies. So this is something that needs to be gone over way ahead of time. Now, during the actual event, the actual assignment, that's something that they have to show up way ahead of time. usually hours before the actual event. Doing a quick run through, especially if something has changed. There's something that they have to kind of think on their feet and make sure that if they were practicing as coming in on the left, all of a sudden they've switched it around to the right. It's just a matter of dealing with any changes, and they need to be there early. Now, keep in mind, a lot of the basics have already been practiced. You've already decided on what type of thing is needed for that assignment. So it's just a matter of figuring out the logistics of everything, making sure that the core of what you've trained for is still there, and being able to adapt tiny little things so that you can still do that particular presentation. Now, after an assignment, they got to secure their equipment. The flags are not cheap. A lot of the equipment is kind of expensive. Everything from the actual flag holster that they carry, that they actually put the end of the flag pole into. That needs to be secured, maybe even cleaned if it was outside in the rain. So that's something that you can use again and again. And there's usually with a group that's the honor guard for your council or district, they are the ones that maintain all of that equipment and making sure that it's all available for the next assignment. Another critical thing is that the team actually gets together and does kind of an after-action debriefing kind of thing of what they could have done better, thorns and roses, kind of thing. That helps the unit actually become more efficient, it sharpens everything right down, and that's the critical thing after. Now, there are many skills that you're going to need if you are going to be in a youth honor guard. There are lots of skills that are needed. Now, with adults, the leadership is usually on the outside of that. The youth actually do the actual ceremonies for whatever their assignment is. The adults are there like normal. They coach and they mentor and they do all of that in the background. Okay, they're behind the scenes in this ceremony that the youth honor guard is doing. So this is something that they do in the background, but it still requires certain skills. A big one for the youth and for the adults is attention to details. To make sure that when they get the assignment that they have been on the phone, the adults have been on the phone talking with the recipient of whatever services they're going to be needing. They need to know where the meeting place is and all the details. So that attention to all of the details as far as organizing and getting ready and preparing for, that has to be there. It boils all the way down to where your patches are on your uniform. Is it a standard uniform? Is everybody in the same shirt? Is everybody in the same hat? It can be very detail oriented. Reliability is another big one. You have to have scouts that are dedicated, that are going to be reliable. They're going to come to practice. They're going to make an effort. They're going to be at the assignment. So these are things, that's a skill. And a lot of young people have problems with being reliable. Confidence. This is something that they have to be ready for. They have to be confident that they can do that particular ceremony so that that assignment doesn't fall apart. So confidence comes right into play with all of the practice and all of the things that they've done before, all those details. So it all kind of wraps together. All of that creates discipline. You have to have a disciplined mind to organize and to be all those things, being dependable, being reliable, understand and get that confidence. That is critical. Teamwork and the ability to take command, being able to work out small projects and small things that you can work as a team to really achieve. And one of the big ones is, of course, being able to follow commands. This is super important for when you are actually doing your assignment as an honor guard. You have to be able to follow those directions. Having the proper uniform to what the event or the assignment is involved, and being able to do public speaking. Okay, the person giving the commands has to be able to articulate and get the information out there. Finally, something goes wrong, you got to stay composed and have a plan B, okay, that you can shift to immediately. This is something that happens a lot, especially with the honor guard. You're in the middle of doing a ceremony and getting it going, and for some reason, the wrong orders are actually announced. Turn left. You turn left. Okay. Doesn't say go forward, but you have to be able to recover from that. There might be a pause or a gap, or what do you do? This is something that you got to work out. Now, in scouting, we have a thing we call culture, okay, or scouting culture, and ceremonies and traditions that we have built in to our Cub Scout packs and our troops and our crew and all the different divisions of scouting. We have these traditions built in. We have a video right up there, and it talks about those traditions. It is super important that scout leaders look at that, because traditions are important to the scouting lesson, to the scout oath, to the scout law. These are incredibly important aspects of scouting that really leave a lasting memory. And it's almost like having an honor guard built into your program. So that is a video that I highly recommend. Hey, before we go any further, I want to personally invite you to come to the Campfire Chat. This is a live meeting. It happens on the first Sunday of each month, and it starts at 9 p.m. That's Eastern Time. And of course, I want to personally thank all of the members of the Patreon. They help support what we do here. In addition to that, we also have memberships available right here on this channel. Hit the join button and find out more information. There's a lot of nice little perks that you get for being a member and helping support what we do here. And one of those things is being recognized on our channel. So here's the list of all of the supporters of the channel. Now, the hardest part of being in the honor guard is probably getting up early. I mean, really early, to be there on time. We have a saying in scouting and in the military too. I think it might have come from the military, but to be early is to be on time, right? And to be on time is to be late. And late is not acceptable. You can't work around that. It's a schedule, and you got to be up early. For many assignments, it is almost a requirement to be there hours before the actual event. Some ceremonies can be very long, okay? And a lot of times your honor guard needs to stand perfectly still, at attention. That is difficult for a lot of youth. It is something that they need to practice. It is something, just standing still. That's amazing for some scouts. Some scouts can't do it. Some scouters can't do it. Okay? So it is difficult. It is very difficult to stand still, to calm yourself and be perfectly still. That is a talent. That is a skill that an honor guard member should have. being able to perform a task, a thing they've practiced in front of an enormous crowd. Now, it could be anything from a television camera to millions, or it could be a stadium full of people, just general crowd. You have to be able to go out there. Some people get so scared that they cannot walk out onto the field with all the eyes looking at them. And it really gets them. So you have to have that ability. Memorizing a procedure. This is more than just play. Okay, like in a play, you have different people will base their dialogue on others. They will move to different parts of the stage. These are it's a program that you need to work out ahead of time, and that's all that preparation. It's all that practice. That's where it really shines through. So you got to be able to memorize a lot of that procedure. Being ready for the weather. Now, this is something that an honor guard needs to know. We're in Florida. I'm in Central Florida, okay? It rains every single day during the summer. When it doesn't, it attracts hurricanes. Okay, so we like it when it rains. So be ready for it. A scout, be prepared. That is the embodiment, being ready for what you know is going to happen. Now, another big thing is being able to synchronize, being able to walk in a straight line, being able to move immediately as told by the person calling out the commands for that honor guard. That is a skill. It's something that you can learn as a youth, that particular thing. And as an adult, you can teach youth how to do that. But being able to do it is very important. The final one is, of course, pressure. You're going to have the pressure of representing Scouting America in front of the public, whether it be at a parade or an event or what have you. In the honor guard, you have those things. You have to be prepared. You have to have that preparedness to represent. So be ready for that. Why it matters. Why does the honor guard matter? I believe that it has a lot to do with older scouts finding a role that they could really excel in. I think that is a big thing. Also, we need to increase patriotism by honoring the past. That is a super important thing. And honoring the colors and honoring the honor guard, being a part of that is a huge patriotic duty that a scout thrives at. You will find scouts that just really are ideal for that role. Now, there is a trend where older scouts are leaving scouting for a multitude of reasons, and I did a video on that, so check out the video right up there that talks about losing older scouts. It does happen. We need to have things available for them so that it's not the same troop activities over and over again. They need a variety. It could be OA, it could be honor guard, it could be, other things within scouting. That's the thing. And leadership is a big thing. So definitely check out that video. How to get involved. That is a big question that you have to either have something already established or you need to work on establishing an honor guard. This is an option. I would definitely check with your service center of your council. They probably have established honor guard units that are actively recruiting scouts to join. So, and they will have requirements. There's usually an application process, and in that they will actually say you have to be a certain age or age area, like 14 to 18 years old. You have to be a certain rank that you've achieved. That's something that might be required. So those are requirements that you need to work out. But first of all, you need to find out if there is an honor patrol or an honor guard in your council. So definitely call your local field office or the actual services that they have there and find out if they have one. Now, if they have a unit that's already going, they probably will have annual tryouts. It's almost like an audition, okay? You come in with your application and they give you some calls, and depending on how you react to them and your appearance, a lot of it is appearance because we're trying to mold up a certain thing in scouting that's there to make sure that they're sharp and they got their patches in the right places and things like that. That's something that can be worked on. But we need to make sure that from the beginning there's not going to be a whole bunch of problems. And that's kind of that thing about the honor guard. Now, regardless, there's going to be some training and a lot of practice. Before you actually go out to an assignment, usually you're a backup, okay? You don't actually do the assignment. You're a backup to somebody that will be doing it. So it's kind of a having all of it in place, being ready, be prepared. That's the whole big thing, and being ready for that. And there's a lot of practice and a lot of training. And with that, you got schedule. So you not only have school and scouts and OA and all the other things, you have practice for your honor guard. That's the thing. Practice will make it perfect. That's the old saying, right? So you got to have that in the schedule. And with a lot of young people, their schedule fills up really quickly. Now, scout leaders, if you have youth that are interested in this, this is something that you may want to call your council service center and find out what honor guard groups are out there for scouting and what they're booking with. They will be able to tell you, we have a venture crew that's it's actually crew 9/11 and they do a lot of those activities and stuff. So we book with them. Then it's a matter of contacting their contact that they'll give you to really make arrangements so that you have that information. So it varies every single council, okay? I can't blanket that enough. It varies. But you can, if you don't have one, you can try to put something together. Why not? That would be a fantastic service for adults. And if you're a youth watching these, and really I make all these videos for adults, but it's suitable for youth and they watch them too. If you're interested, definitely contact your scout leadership, whether you're in a troop or a crew or any of that stuff. You want to make sure that you talk to them, okay? Typically, it's for older scouts, not Cub Scouts, okay? Typically. I've never even thought about that. That might be something different. I don't know. Now, one of the big things you're going to get out of this, and that's true for all of the scouters and scouts, is confidence. This is a confidence builder. If you can go out there and be real sharp and really turn on a dime and work as a group and really execute the whole ceremony down perfect, wow, you've got confidence. That is a huge confidence builder. The Honor Guard will build that leadership skills that are needed in today's world, along with understanding that ceremony, being able to put that thing together and to really honor being the color guard for an event is significant, and really giving that moment of patriotic recognition that we're so desperate for in America. Now, even if you're not actually doing those ceremonies, at least you will have a greater understanding of flag etiquette, how to fold a flag, how to do it appropriately, how to respect the flag, even how to retire the flag or present the colors. Those are skills, and those can be learned within the honor guard. And the friendships that you're going to gain within the honor guard are awesome. You'll have that for a lifetime. Just like in a troop, you have scouters that will have activities outside of the troop. So, yeah, bags and so on. It is amazing that camaraderie and the community bonds that you build is fantastic. Fantastic to have that honor guard there for your community. Think about it. That would be awesome. Finally, the big thing is that pride that you're going to gain by representing the best of scouting to your community. That's the wonderful thing. Whether you're a leader in the background, and I know this to be a fact, you're going to see that pride, and you're going to feel that pride that they have in representing appropriately the ideal scout. That's the thing. This is something that we can do, and by using this honor guard unit, patrol, group, what have you, that is the key to really helping out others. And we do a lot for our scouts, and this is just one of many. So definitely keep up that good hard work and having all those options. It's another way of keeping those older scouts. Definitely check out that video. And if you're interested, I did do a video about being a trailblazer when it comes to recruitment, and recruiting is a big deal. So definitely check out the video right over there, and I'll see you on the trail.